GC fam, what is up? Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be unpacking the Groove Cruise 2025, sailing, the set times, the artist. I'm going to give you a little bit of song examples, tell you about who I'm interested in seeing. This is my 12th year sailing on Groove Cruise, and I'm so excited. It's one of my favorite festivals to attend every year, and I'm really excited to just see you all. Before we really deep dive into this insane schedule, just want to introduce myself. My name is Jess. I create videos around F words I'm passionate about, and festivals is one of them. I do have a lot of Groove Cruise content on my channel. I've been creating Groove Cruise videos since 2014. 2013 was my first sailing, and after that I was hooked and just felt like I had to document everything Groove Cruise. So I do have guides and vlogs and tips all on my channel. If you could please subscribe, like this video, and share it with your GC fam, it would really help me out. And also, if you are attending Groove Cruise this year, I did create a official playlist of the full lineup, and I will leave that down in the description box if you want to take a listen to some of these artists yourself. Now, I do want to go over some of the brands that Groove Cruise has created in recent years so that you can kind of know where these artists are genre-wise on the lineup. So first, I'm going to start with Rising Tides. This is Groove Cruise brand for house music. Now, of course, house, there's a big umbrella that falls underneath that, right? We have classic house, tech house, bass house, G house, deep house, melodic house. So these are the artists that will be playing that style of house music. We also have Abyss. Now you will see a lot of repeat offenders on here, a lot of the same similar artists. Abyss is Groove Cruise's brand, where it's kind of that moody, dark, after hours vibe. You have techno and tech house. Siren's Echo is another Groove Cruise brand, which falls under the bass music category. So here you're going to find a lot of melodic bass, dubstep, drum and bass, those types of artists. And lastly, we have Embark, which is Groove Cruise's brand for trance. So you will have all of the trance artists, psytrance and tech trance, any type of trance music that is under that umbrella will be in the Embark label. Let's dive into Thursday. It's a lot to unpack every day, and I'm just going to go in order of how these set times are listed by stage, just because I think that's going to be easier for me to manage. Every time I do these videos, I try to jump around in time chronicle order, and it's just so hard to do because there's so much going on. So at the Aqua Theater, which is going to be in the After the Boat Deck 6, we have the Welcome to the Aqua Realm. Starting off with Queso Fresco. Queso Fresco is a GC fam resident artist, mostly known for house and experimental house. He does do some techno sets and a lot of experimental sets. I've seen him many times, so that's a great way to kick off this party. We do have Christoph, who is more of like a melodic house, deep house artist. I would definitely compare him to someone like Camel Fat or Rufus Du Sol, maybe Lane 8. I'm interested in checking him out. Then we have Eric Priz, the Sunset Set. Eric Priz is one of the top producers in house music. I'm pretty sure everyone is familiar with him. This is such a big ticket artist to have on Groove Cruise. So we will be doing a beautiful sunset set with him on the back of the boat, which is amazing. After Eric Prydz, we have James Hype B2B Medusa Sail Away set. This is a really interesting B2B. James Hype is also a very well-known producer for house music. Medusa, I feel like, is more on the melodic house side, so really interested to see what this B2B will offer, since I think that James Hype is a little bit more like tech housey, bass housey, and Medusa is kind of more like melodic, chill house. Jeremy Lander, if I'm saying that correctly, sorry if I'm not, is a Swedish music producer and DJ, and I would categorize his music kind of on that more melodic house, kind of like melodic techno type vibe, very similar to, I guess, Medusa can kind of have that vibe as well. So I think that would be like the perfect transition. And then after him, we do have Adam Scott's Eurodance Classics. So Adam Scott is another GC fam member who's a staple on Groove Cruise, and his Eurodance Classics sets are always so much fun. Very 90s vibe. Obviously, you have all the classics, sing-alongs. Everyone's usually having a great time at that set. In the Promenade, which is going to be Deck 5, which Deck 5, there are about, or Deck 4, I think it is, there's about 5 venues that are kind of close to one another. I definitely recommend you check out the app and you could see where all the layout of these venues are. But the Promenade is typically an indoor venue. There's usually staircases where there's like a kind of like overlook up top on one level, and then below there'll be like a dance floor with the DJ. So starting off this party, we have CJ DeRage. She is a GC family member as well. I do believe she plays house music, and I'm sorry if I have that wrong. We have Vintage 72, another GC fam member who plays house music. Every year, year after year, I pronounce these guys' names wrong, and I'm just always so embarrassed because I can never get it right. Gruby and Hufsapian.
Gruby and Hufsapian. Gruby and Hufsapian.
Maybe I finally have gotten it close, but they are trance music artists. Then we have Hero. I'm not exactly sure the style music that Hero plays. Then we have Seven Fate, who is a techno artist. We have Snugs. And then we have Sarah D. Warren. Heading to the Amber Theater, which is going to be the inside theater. This theater looks massive on the ship. Everything looks massive on this ship because it's such a big ship. We do have Marcus Schultz, who is going to do his open to close set. Marcus Schultz has been on so many Groove Cruises. Him and his wife, Adina Buttar, come on all the time. And I feel like for the last few years, they've been sailing. Yeah, so I feel like Marcus Schultz is just one of those classic trance acts. If you really love trance, then you know who Marcus Schultz is, because he is someone I find that has stayed true to his roots when it comes to music. Heading over to Blaze, which is on deck 4. This is where I was talking about how there's some venues that are kind of all next to each other, which is really great. So we can kind of bounce around a little bit. We have No Boys in the booth. So this is Tiso's curated party. Tiso is a GC family member and longtime resident Groove Cruise DJ. And this is exactly what you would think it is. It's a all-female DJ lineup, which is very exciting to showcase female talent. We do have Eve B2B Trashly. Not exactly sure what type of music they play. If you can comment down below so people know, that would be great. We also have Jen Blackburn, which this is a longtime GC fam member, and I do believe she plays more on the tech house techno side. We have Jay Disco. She's probably one of the longest running Groove Cruise female DJs to my knowledge, and she plays house and tech house. And then we have Tiso, who obviously this is her party, and she also plays house and tech house. Now we're moving into Studio B, the ice rink on deck 5. We have the Stereo Hype Party. So this is going to be James Hype Stereo Hype Party, kicking it off with Max Low. They are a tech house female DJ duo. They have been on many Groove Cruise sailings, also longtime Groove Cruise artists. So definitely check them out if you want some amazing, like uplifting, like hard pounding tech house. Then we have Rewire. They are a big room tech house style DJ. So I definitely think that this entire party, that's what you can expect, is a lot of kind of like pounding, upbeat house music that, you know, has a little bit of a kick and a punch to it.
DJ spin it back like a cyclone.
Tita Lau is up after Rewire. This is actually James Hype fiance, so I do believe that she has similar style music that will fit with this party.
Take it. Gotta take it. Back to basics, back to basics. Been all alone and now I can't take no more. I told you from the start.
And then we have James Hype, who I already talked about, but one of the largest artists that's on this GC lineup. Producer-wise, you probably know tons of his tracks. Jumping back over to Blaze on deck 4 after the No Boys in the Booth party, we have an Afro House party with Buck Rogers, Nate Wyatt, DJ Ruckus, and a special guest. So I definitely think that would be an interesting party to check out, just based off of like if you want a chiller kind of like tribal Afro House vibe. On the main pool, which is pretty much open from the time that we board, we have David Raven. I'm not exactly sure who that is. We do have Shannon Williams, very long time artist on Groove Cruise, GC Fam, house music. Then we have Keith Christopher, who is also longtime GC Fam resident artist who plays house and tech house. We have Tita Lau, who is on there. I just talked about her before, but in case you missed it, she is James Hype's fiance, and I would definitely consider her a house music, kind of like bass house, tech house type of artist. Dancernauts, they've also been on Groove Cruise many times, and I do believe that they are a house music artist as well.
Hey!
With full space gear.
Telecast is a progressive house duo.
Underneath the surface, I promise I won't leave.
And then we have Cosmalia. She has been on Groove Cruise many times as well. She is a house tech house artist. Drums of the Sun, GC fam staple, and a must see. They are closing out this party, and they are a house and tech house duo. Very unique though, because Louis D is the DJ and Bam Bam Buddha is a percussionist and does live drums. So it's always such an amazing performance, fun set to go see. And they have multiple sets, and I'll talk about their party and everything like that once we get to it. Okay, moving into comedy live on deck 4. This is going to be the comedy club, so it is kind of like going to have seating and different lounge areas, I would think, to check out. You have the Latin House Party starting off with Louis D. Just talked about his project Drums of the Sun, but he does DJ on his own, so I feel like, that's the perfect person to kick off this type of party. Then we have Sebastian Morix and Mosca and Solaria. I know Solaria is a house music artist. I'm not sure. I would guess that the other two, obviously, since they're playing a Latin house party, are house music producers. I don't know if they specialize in Latin house or Afro house or anything like that, but they are house music DJs. Seems like it's going to be a super fun party. I'll just stick on this venue. We have the Trench D&B party. So D&B is drum and bass. I really think that this is an interesting lineup for this party. You have Debise. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Then you have Nikita Page, back-to-back Voyager. They are two Groove Cruise family members and DJs, always playing unique sets. I feel like Nikita Page does like the Taking Back emo. He does kind of like melodic bass, and then same thing with Voyager. And they're going to be going back-to-back and doing drum and bass. I think that's going to be a really cool set to see. Then we have Deepfake on here. Don't forget the time that I didn't know who Deepfake was, and now I absolutely adore them. But Deepfake is a DJ duo. They are from Detroit. They are techno music artists, but they really dabble in multiple genres. They are really into being very experimental, and they are super talented producers. So seeing them on a drum and bass party, I think should be really interesting. And then following up after them, we have Deeper Purpose, which is probably one of the bigger house music artists on this lineup. So super interesting to see them on a drum and bass party. And then we have Brian G, who is another GC fam member and Groove Cruise DJ staple. So that is going to be a lot of fun, you guys. Like, for all the people requesting drum and bass, do not miss that party. That's going to be fucking amazing. All right, then we have Dazzles on deck 7 and 8. This is going to be in the After the Boat. It's kind of like a double club. Never forget Dazzles on my first Groove Cruise in 2013. It was such a small, like, sweaty club. So, like, I can't, like, unsee that, or in my brain, it's, like, in my brain forever. So every time I look at this schedule and I see Dazzles, I'm like, wonder if it's going to be like the same. But yes, you basically walk into this venue. There's a lower level, and then there's also an upper level. So I think it's going to be a really cool, intimate vibe in this club. And starting off here, we have Dose. He is a GC fam member and Groove Cruise resident DJ, tech house artist. We have Scooter and Lavelle. I would say Scooter and Lavelle are probably the longest running artists that have been on Groove Cruise from, since 2005, 2006, I would say. So they're a really unique duo. They typically, I would say, play a lot of like progressive house, tech house, bass house, and they do have separate projects where Scooter has his hip hop party. We'll get into that once we get there. And Lavelle does play a lot of house and tech house throughout the lineup as well on his own. So when they're together, though, it's very genre blending type of set. So super interesting to go check them out. Up after them, we have Skyla. Not too sure about them. Then we have Cheyenne Gills. So he is a kind of like, I would say, G house, bass house, progressive house producer. Matt Cesari is a French music producer, definitely someone I'm interested in checking out on this lineup. He is a tech house DJ, techno DJ, more on the house side though, definitely. And then after that, we have a special guest. So who knows? I guess you'll have to be there to find out. Heading into the fuel deck on deck 16, we have, I am not sure how to pronounce this, party. It is a bass music party for sure. Starting out with Years of War, who's been on Groove Cruise several times now. They are part of the Ophelia crew, which is Seven Lions label, and they've come back year after year. Amity, who is also a bass artist. Lizzie Jane, also a bass artist. Crystal Skies, I would say they're more on the melodic bass side. We have Lucy. I would definitely consider her a heavy bass artist. Midas throwback set. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if that means it's going to be his old tracks or like maybe older bass music tracks. So that might be really interesting to check out. Alley Cat, she is an artist I do want to check out here on Groove Cruise. She is a rising female music producer, DJ, songwriter. She sings her own tracks, and her bass music, honestly, like I feel like is making waves in the scene right now. And she's done a lot of collaborations with people like Levity and Zingara, just to name a few. And then we have a surprise B2B2B. So my guess it would be maybe some of these bass music artists, maybe you'll see Seven Lions there. I don't really know. And then let's talk about the casino real quick before we get into the after hours, since that's going to be the latest party. In the casino, we have Dave Nevin. I'm not sure who that is, so I'm so sorry. I don't know everyone on the lineup. I do know most people on the lineup. We have Trance Jesus. He is a GC Fam member and pretty much a GC Fam Groove Cruise resident artist staple, and he will play trance music. He also does play house music under his real name, which is Chris Blackburn. And his wife is Jen Blackburn, who does house and techno, if you missed that, tech house. We have Lucio. He, I feel like, is one of the longest running resident GC artists as well. Amazing trance producer and artist. And he also does spin and drop some cool house sets, but mostly he does trance on Groove Cruise. So that's what you could expect from him here. And then we have Brian Lubliner, who also is a GC Fam member and GC Fam resident artist. He does have a party, We're Never Going Home, which I'll get into when we go into that day, whenever that is. And he is really versatile DJ, usually plays different like progressive house, tech house. You also can see him at the hip hop party. So he is pretty versatile, and I feel like maybe he would be a great transition from Lucio to Doc Brown. Doc Brown is after Brian Lubliner. easily one of my favorite artists on Groove Cruise, resident DJ artist, techno and tech house music, and he's playing a classic set. So this is one of those sets that is just such a vibe and a do not miss. And then after Doc Brown, we have Basora Boys. He is a tech house music producer from Chicago. He is also on Doc Brown's label, and he's done some tracks with Gene Ferris, just to give you an idea of his style of music. And then jumping over to the Solarium, where After Hours is going to be held on Deck 15. The Solarium, in case you've never been on a cruise, is usually an indoor pool and spa area. I did check out a video of what the Solarium looks like on this boat, and it's massive, and they do have open air. So I definitely think that it's going to be a really cool spot for after hours. Starting off the after party for night one, we have Allie K. She is a resident GC fam artist as well. She's been on the past few years, and she's an incredible techno DJ. Then we have Leighton Giordani, who is a New York City producer, DJ, techno as well. He is on my watch list. Definitely want to go check out all of his sets or multiple sets from him.
Let's go dancing. I wanna go dancing with you all night dancing.
Then we have Medusa Techno set, which I like really want to, I hope I make it to. That might be my last set of the night on this night, just because there's so much going on the following day. But I gotta say, this after hours lineup is just straight fire. Then you have Roger Sanchez, the S-Man. Probably, in my opinion, one of the best names on this lineup. He's been on Groove Cruise pretty much from the beginning, from the early years, and he is an incredible house music producer, DJ. He has radio shows and plays like so much incredible house music, and he's just so talented. Do not miss the S-Man, you guys. He has multiple sets on this cruise. You have to go to one of them. I think I might pass on this one just because there's other longer sets of his later on in the weekend that I am going to try to make. And then after Roger Sanchez, we have Ranger Trucco, who's also another incredible tech house DJ and producer who's been on board Groove Cruise for the last few sailings. So super excited to see him back. Just want to touch upon some of the activations and activities that are going on Thursday. Now, as the weekend goes on, the activations get absolutely insane, you guys. I mean, there is so much going on. Just want to point out a few things on here that I think are important to point out, like the Virgin meetup that's at 2 p.m. Okay, that's going to be at Dazzles, which is that little club in the aft of the boat. I think it's super important that you go. This is hosted by GC Cupid. He's a long time GC fam member, has been sailing, I think, probably as long as me, if not longer, and really amazing guy. His name is Jamie, and he hosts the Virgin Meetup just so that you all can meet each other, get comfortable, maybe make new friends, especially if you're solo or you're new. So I definitely encourage that you go to that. We also have a Sober Captains Meetup, which I think is important for anyone that is practicing sobriety or is trying to not party as much. We do have that to offer here, which is at 3 p.m. on the air deck at 5. Body paint and hair braiding, that's going to be on the main pool deck on port side every day. And that is hosted by Chaos Inc., which is Manny, and Vanity by Vanessa, who's Vanessa. And they've been painting, body painting, doing hair, makeup, and all this stuff on board Groove Cruise for years. So if you're stuck on a theme, you don't know what to do, definitely go by and stop by their booth, and they can hook you up with some sick body paint. We do have speed friending as well. So this is just a way that you can kind of mingle and meet new people, maybe make connections that you wouldn't make otherwise on a speed friending meetup, which is hosted by GC Cupid and Dorothy Warren. Shout out Dorothy. And then we do have a few other meetups like military, LGBTQ+. We have Skeeter's Juice 2.0. Skeeter, what is this? I don't know what this is. Maybe someone knows what it is. We do have the Fake Scavenger Hunt hosted by Deepfake. Deepfake, these guys are always doing something creative. They're always doing something fun. And I definitely think that if you're into doing scavenger hunts, that this is something you want to check out. We also have all the hosted dinners with some artists. These are pre-cruise signed up, so you do have to sign up. But if you are interested in something on here, you could always go to Captain Support, which is going to be located by Guest Services on deck 5. So you could always go and see if you can sign up for one of these activations or dinners if you have not yet. We do have on here as well just things like the merch store. Something new that they're adding this year is having open decks and DJs at the merch store. So that's really fun. Also have Wet Oasis, which usually is just like kind of like a chiller place for you to go. Typically it would be late at night in the past, but it is at the same place where After Hours is. So it's more of a daytime thing now. So it's from 4 p.m. until 1 a.m. And you'll see a lot of spiritual house, kind of down tempo house, and kind of just like kind of a chiller vibe there if you just want to go relax, decompress, that type of thing. And then we do have a silent disco in Central Park. So wow. So much going on. Moving into Friday. So here's where things get a little wild, you guys, because I feel like Friday, Saturday, Sunday is just always so packed. There's a lot of conflicts. There's definitely a lot of things you're going to have to choose between. So once again, I'm just going to be going in order from top to bottom, how they are listed. They probably will not be in time chronological order. Did I say that right? Chronological order. So let's start with the Aqua Theater. We have the Trance Bro Party. This is Adam Scott's party. Obviously, it's a trance party. So all these artists on here are trance artists. We do have Lucio, who I talked about. That's a GC fam staple right there. We have Orhan Nielsen and Mark Sixma. The two of them, they do perform separately, but they also do have a duo project, which is on this lineup. I think it's like Syslix or something. When I see them, I'll know exactly who it is. But the thing about Mark Sixma is when I listen to his music, it definitely felt more like on like the like techno trance side, like definitely a little bit harder. So super interested in maybe checking him out. Then we obviously have Adam Scott. This is his party. We have a special guest B2B surprise guest with trance classics. Interesting. Curious to find out who that would be. And then we have Robert Nixon. Moving over to Promenade Deck 5. So this is kind of earlier in the day. Once again, we have a whole trance music lineup here with Cold Harbor, which is Marcus Schultz's label. We have Dave Nevin, Tim Clark, Grubby and Hoopsafian. Always feel like I mess their names up. I'm sorry, guys. Marcus Schultz, and then we have Adina Buttar and Sarah D. Warren. That will be a really interesting set to see. Adina Buttar is Marcus Schultz's wife. She does a lot of vocals, and Sarah D. Warren is a trance music artist. And then we have Daxon, who is closing out this party here, who I feel like Daxon's trance music is like something I'd be listening to if I was driving with a rooftop down in a car on an island somewhere. Like, absolutely love his music. As far as trance music, I have gone to some of his sets on Groove Cruise. Later on at night in the Promenade, it's not any type of hosted party here. It does look like it's a lot of GC fam staples here. We have Nikita Page, Taylor's version. We have Dose doing a disco set. So Dose is typically like a tech house DJ. So disco set from him would be really cool to see. Trans Jesus doing classic sermon. And the Brothers Grimm taking back emo. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That means that there's going to be a lot of like, you know, punk rock, I think, in that set. And then we have Keith Christopher doing a house classic set. So that's like a lot of different things going on there. Like if you're popping in and out of there, definitely a lot to check out. If you guys hear my dog barking at any point in this video, my apologies. I am trying to power through this and I can't stop every time she starts barking. So if you hear, my bad. But let's get into the Amber Theater, which is going to be the Under the Radar party with Shannon Williams. He's a house music producer. Kristen Knight. This is Roger Sanchez's wife, and she is also a house music producer, been on Groove Cruise several times. We have a Roger Sanchez extended set. I would definitely love to go see that. I absolutely love the S-Man, one of the best house music DJs and producers that is on this lineup. He's a do not miss, you guys. Like, absolutely, if you love house music, you cannot miss Roger Sanchez. Then we have Emiya, who is a artist that I am definitely interested in checking out. I've listened to her music, absolutely love it. Definitely on the tech house side. And then we have Brian G, who is also probably my guess closing out this party doing a house set, and he absolutely slayed on his casino set. I forget what year it was, but I absolutely loved it. So I always make it a point to go see Brian G.
Self-control.
At Comedy Live Deck 4, we have Unlearned Records. This is Doc Brown's party. Absolute stacked lineup, you guys. This is going to be hard for me because there's a lot of my favorite parties going on at the same time on this day. But Unlearn is definitely a party I will not miss. I will definitely be popping in and out of there. We have 22 Weeks, who actually has done a lot of collaboration songs with many artists on this boat. Tech house producer. We have Cosmalia. She is also a house and tech house producer. We have LaBelle Dupree, who will also be doing house and tech house at this party, because Unlearned Records is a house and tech house label, you guys. So you could just expect that at this party. And Lavelle is one of the longest running DJs on Groove Cruise. He does have a project with Scooter, but he does play separately as himself. And so that's what you could expect at this set. Then we have Basura Boys, who is a Chicago house producer. Already talked about him. He's done some awesome fire tracks with Gene Ferris, and he's released on Doc Brown's Unlearned Records, which is why he's on this record label party. And then we have Doc Brown, who I have also discussed, who I think is one of my favorite producers and DJs on Groove Cruise. Absolutely love him. And he is a house and tech house producer. So he obviously will be closing out his own party there. Inside at Studio B in the ice rink, which this is going to be a really interesting venue, you guys. This is going to be kind of clubby type venue, I feel like, because it's indoors. They've done ice rink venues before where they've covered up the ice rink and it's kind of like a dance floor, and then you have all seating, kind of like stadium seating around. So it's kind of like similar to a theater, just not as large. So really think it's going to be some like intimate vibes. We have Queso Fresco, who I've mentioned already. We have Anika, who I think is going to bring that dark, moody vibe. Totally interested in checking her out. We have Annabelle Unglin, who I think is one of the largest house music producers on this lineup as well. She's definitely done some amazing tracks with people like MK and Benny Benassi, and just the list goes on. She's done a lot of projects with people and she's very well known, so definitely check her out. We have Joshua returning to Groove Cruise, and if you've watched my vlogs, you know that I absolutely love him. He's a house music, house tech house producer as well. Rango Trucco, who I have already mentioned, also returning to Groove Cruise. And then we have a B2B2B2B, which I would guess is going to be probably Joshua, Rango Trucco. Maybe Anika is going to hop on there. That's kind of what I would guess for that. But it could be someone totally surprised for here. I have no idea. Okay, moving over to the fuel deck on deck 16, we have the old school hip hop party. This is Scooter's party. This is such a vibe, you guys. It's so good to kind of I don't know, hear something different than just dance music. And I feel like this party always throws down and is always packed out. It's been like a GC thing for years and absolutely love it. So kicking off this party, we have Brian Lubliner, who I've talked about, very versatile DJ, does house, tech house, but obviously on this party, it's a hip hop party. So there's going to be solely hip hop. Then we have Vintage 72 doing a bump and grind set. Vintage 72 is also a longtime GC fam, Groove Cruise resident artist. Buck Rogers is returning. From what I heard, his hip hop set one year was just the best that everyone has ever heard. And so now they just keep bringing him back. So definitely recommend checking him out. And then we have Scooter closing out the party, of course. So this is just such a fun vibe. Definitely recommend that you go if you want to change up from the dance music. Now we're going to be talking about the main pool. This is kind of like going to be all day type of thing. And we have Sebastian Morix. I can't remember exactly what type of music they play, so I will drop it in here. Also, Fresh Powder, not too sure. Nate Wyatt, I think this is like a GC resident artist as well, but I'm not exactly sure. Then we have Joshua, who I've talked about before. We also have It's Murph. It's Murph is on my watch list for sure. Very popular producer, house music, kind of like maybe like deeper house. Then we have Deeper Purpose, who is a house, tech house DJ.
On the disco box. She's a party diva.
Some people tell me I'm a party diva.
After Deeper Purpose, we have Twin Sick. I would definitely think that they are like kind of on the deeper house, chill house, melodic house vibe. Then we have Scotty Boy, host of Groove Cruise Radio, longest running DJ on this boat as far as like some of the staples that are on this lineup, has been attending Groove Cruise for years. He is a house and tech house DJ as well. I would think with what's going on with this lineup, it's definitely going to be like on the deeper house side, but it is kind of getting later in the night, so maybe he'll pack a little bit of a punch. And then we have Ali K, who is a techno DJ. Heading over to the casino, let's see. We have the Gemini Soul Stage. I'm not too familiar with this party. Someone help me out. I'm not exactly sure who a lot of these artists are. I do see we have Rico and Melia doing a bass house set. We have Misbehave. We have Snugs. We have Maxlow. It seems like there's kind of a big variety there. And then underneath that, later on in the night, we have some other artists on here that it looks kind of more on the techno side, because we have Kylie Nate on there. She's a techno DJ. Tiso, she's like house, tech house. But I mean, I don't know. Looking at some of these other artists, it might be more like on the tech-y side. We have the Blackburns. They definitely will be dropping techno, I feel like. So that's maybe going to be like a little bit of a moodier party in the casino later on at night. And then heading over to Dazzles, we have the Reborn party. So I do believe that Reborn is a Midas party. So this is kind of your melodic bass party. You have Kess, who's definitely a melodic bass artist. You have Years of War, MIDI, Crystal Skies. You do have Gem and Tori. So Gem and Tori, they've been on multiple Groove Cruises as well. They are a female DJ duo. They are actually Seven Lions wife and girlfriend, and they're a DJ duo together, and they kind of pretty versatile with their music. I do find that you can get a little bit of a more like housey set from them, although this is a melodic bass party, so they might be a little bit more on that type of style for this party. And then we have Midas, Tribeca, and then the Reborn B2B2B. So that's going to be your melodic bass party right there for the night. Over at Blaze and Deck 4, we have Crispy, Kaztech. Kaztech, you guys, is an amazing house music artist. Definitely like more on like, I feel like the bass G house kind of like pounding house music type of vibe. Absolutely love him, and I missed him last year on Groove Cruise, so like I need a redemption. Definitely need to get me a Kaztech set for sure. We do have Essential Freaks. They are longtime GC artists as well. Romeo and a special guest. And then over at the Solarium for after hours on Friday night, do feel like this is a little earlier to be seeing the Incorrect After Hours party on this lineup, and it is one of my favorite parties. I talk about it all the time. I absolutely love Incorrect After Hours. Incorrect is Anthony Atala's record label. He's a Chicago house, tech house artist, and he has a lot of great tracks on his Incorrect label. I don't miss Anthony Atala. So this is really hard for me because there's like the hip hop party, there's Unlearned Records going on, there's a lot of great parties going on. I usually don't ever miss Anthony Atala, but I might have to get there a little late on this one just because of all the other parties going on. You could check out my vlog and you see exactly how Anthony throws down. It's a journey. It is an absolute do not miss for me. Absolutely love Anthony Atala. And then we have Gene Ferris doing the sunrise set. So, I mean, I've talked about both of them multiple times. This is my first time seeing Gene on the lineup for this year. So in case you don't know, Gene Ferris is also a house music producer from Chicago, house and tech house. So both of them are like do not misses for me. Let's jump into the activations list, which is, I know, very overwhelming to look at. Just want to point out a few things that I haven't touched upon from Thursday. We do have an intention setting workshop with Aid Ramos, who is better known as Vibe with Aid on YouTube, does a lot of great festival content, and she also is a coach. So I've gone to her intention workshop on Groove Cruise last year, and I've also gone and seen it at Electric Forest, and it's really a great way to start out the weekend and set some intentions for what type of festival experience you want to have on Groove Cruise. We also have the Wet and Wild Drag Brunch. Still have not seen this. I think this is their 4th time on Groove Cruise. So this is a drag brunch show that I think is highly anticipated every year. We do have one of my favorite activations, which I will 100% be at, which is at 11 a.m. Crusher Camp featuring Keith Christopher. So the Crushers are longtime GC fam, and Chris Crusher is a body fitness coach, and his wife Susie, they run Crusher Camp. So it's a fitness activation. Lots of people dress up in neon gear and they go and work out. I personally just go and I usually people watch and drink and enjoy the music, which is by Keith Christopher, who dresses up as Swole Simmons, aka a spoof on Richard Simmons, and it's a lot of fun. Definitely recommend this activation. You also have a Lego building competition with Brookie. That seems awesome. I wonder what everyone would be building there. I know that my boyfriend's kids love building Legos, so if you're a Lego enthusiast, that seems like something to definitely check out. We also have Doc Brown's Unlearned Trivia. Unlearned Records is Doc Brown's label, House Tech House label. He does play a lot of unreleased tracks at trivia and constructs a whole trivia game, which is absolutely amazing. He started this during COVID on Twitch and it kind of blew up, so it's something that a lot of Groove Cruisers love to do, and you could go and win a lot of fun prizes. We also have Human Designs readings with Aid. This is probably the workshop I do want to go and see from Aid. There's also the Celebration of Life, which is a ceremony for those that you have lost, and there's a wreath celebration that happens usually around sunset, but I see that it's a little earlier this year, so it's during the day. There's also the Piñata Party with Queso Fresco. You have Neon Owl, open door sessions, demo listening party, plus they're breaking into the music industry panel. There's just so much going on today. Wow. You also have all your artist activations for the day. There's always a lot of fun ways to get involved and do one-on-one personal activities with your favorite artists. They are pre-sign up. So once again, if you have not signed up for these or any of the dinners you see listed here, they may be full already, but you might be able to sign up if you go to Captain Support, which is going to be located by Guest Services on Deck 5. And the last thing I just want to touch upon on the activations is probably the tarot card readings, because I collect tarot decks and I absolutely love the art on tarot decks. So this is one of the activations by Pretty Cool Productions, who is doing various activities throughout the weekend. I went last year and the line was so long, so I ended up leaving, but definitely would love to go get some cards read for sure. Moving into Saturday, which it's like, I feel like I've been talking for an eternity already, because I have, because this is so intense, you guys. We are going to have the Sirens Sunset, which is at the Aqua Theater. So I had mentioned the Groove Cruise brand. Sirens Echo is the Groove Cruise brand for melodic bass and bass music. So this is your bass music party for the day on the back of the boat. open theater, gonna be a really cool vibe. You have a lot of the artists I have already talked about here, like Amity and Crystal Skies, Trivecta. And then, of course, you have Seven Lions, who is, I think, one of the most anticipated artists on Groove Cruise for this year. Now, he's doing a throwback set for this particular set, but the way I describe Seven Lions music is it's just so versatile, you guys. He's definitely a bass music artist, but he also throws in trance in there. They could be very melodic and like sing along 1 minute, and then the next minute everyone's just like head banging, and it's like absolutely crazy. I feel like if you're a Seven Lions fan, you already know like what I'm talking about. But if you haven't seen him, he is someone you should definitely check out. Then we have Blastoise, who is a psytrance artist who has been on Groove Cruise multiple times. I feel like he's another artist that like Groove Cruise has kind of like looped him in. Like he just loves it, so he keeps coming back. And he's an incredible psytrance artist, like I said. So definitely check him out. And then we have a special guest. I'm not sure who that will be, obviously, so we will have to find out if we're there. At the Promenade, which is once again that indoor venue in the middle of the boat usually, we have, let's see, some things I want to point out on here. We have Raquelevate, the festival anthem set. That is like in your feels type of music, you guys. She does all the throwback anthems, things that you wish people would play in their sets from years ago. Like she plays all of them. So that's something I would definitely check out. We have Licious. She is a house music artist on here that I haven't talked about. So I would definitely recommend going to see her. And then we have Allie K doing a drum and bass set. See, this is what's so unique about Groove Cruise is you have techno artists like Allie K doing drum and bass. I also talked about how Deep Fake and Deeper Purpose are on that drum and bass party earlier on Thursday. So you have a lot of people that kind of break their genre on Groove Cruise. So you just don't know what to expect. And there's a lot of fun things always happening. And then let's see, we also have Cosmalia, Tissot on here. I've talked about them before. Those are two other female producers. And I'm not too sure about the other ones on this lineup like Javelin and Research and Development. So if you are one of those people, please leave a comment so we know what type of music to expect from you. Heading over to the Amber Theater. So this is the indoor theater, which I feel like is always a vibe. This theater looks massive, so I'm really excited to check it out. Usually I am not a big theater venue person because I like the open air and like the ventilation, but this theater looks super dope, you guys. So I'm excited to see some artists that are going to be on this lineup here. We have Lucio, who I've talked about, trance music artist. However, following up after him, we have Pretty Pink. She's a melodic techno artist. She's on my watch list here. Jeremy Allender, who I've talked about, he also is kind of like that melodic kind of house vibe. So maybe Lucio will be doing more of like a melodic house set, which I would love to see from him. He's a very versatile DJ. So this is what I'm talking about. You just don't know what to expect, right? So he typically does trance, but if he's opening this party, which is a lot of like definitely melodic house artists on here, maybe that's what he'll be spinning. We also have Yodo, who is one of my favorite like melodic house, deep house artists. Absolutely love him. So excited for him to be on Groove Cruise. I was really expecting like a Yodo sunrise set somewhere, and I don't think I've seen that so far because I've just briefly looked at this, but he is a vibe. So definitely recommend checking him out. Following up Yodo, we have Maddox, who is also like one of those like melodic kind of house, melodic tech house type of vibe. And then we have the Dancetronauts. So that's a pretty solid party going on in the theater for this night. Also, jumping back to the Promenade, because I'm just going left to right here on this list, I did miss the Dim Mak party that's going on in the Promenade. We have Nicolette, we have Kess, we have Lizzie Jane. So that's kind of like bass artists right there, I feel. Like all of them are kind of bass music, melodic bass artists. So that will be fun in there. Then we have at the Comedy Club live, we have Madison Orange, not sure the style music there, but looking at some of these other artists, I'm going to just go ahead and say house music, because we have Brookie, who's a house music artist, Jay Disco, who's a house music artist, Nikki Genesis, who is also a house music artist. Now, I will say, I'm guessing Madison is female, Brookie's female, Jay Disco is female, Nikki Genesis female. So let's go, female house music artists. I love Nikki Genesis. She's kind of like on like the kind of more vibrant bass house, tech house vibe. Absolutely love her music. Then we have Scotty Boy, GC Fam staple, have, as I've mentioned before, house and tech house. And then we have James and Jules. So I feel like this Pineapple Paradise, not exactly sure what this party is, seems like it's a dope house music party. So would like to check that out. Over at Studio B in the ice rink on deck 5, we have In the Mood. This is going to be such a sick party, you guys. This is Nicole Mudaber's party. So enough said, okay? We have Gritney, we have Ida Enberg, Leighton Giordani, and Nicole Mudabar. So those are all techno artists. So that's your pounding techno. And I feel like I've mentioned this before, but just in case you're jumping around, Studio B, ice rink, they're probably going to cover up the ice rink. It's going to be a dance floor. There's like stadium seating. It's going to be like dark, moody. What better place to have In the Mood, honestly? It's going to feel like you're in a dark techno club, and I'm for it. Totally. Now, here's where some of the conflicts come in again. We have in the fuel deck on 16, Drum Circle. So this is Drums of the Sun party, Drums of the Sun. They are staple resident artists on Groove Cruise. So I feel like their party is usually super fun as far as having like kind of like that more like Latin, maybe Afro kind of like tribal drum circle vibe mixed with house and tech house. That's how I would explain it. And so we have Sebastian Morix, we have Scooter Lavelle, we have Mosaka. Did I say it right? Or Mosca? It's Mosca, I think. And then we have obviously Drums of the Sun and a special B2B. I'm really curious who their special B2B is going to be. But anyway, definitely would like to check that out. I'll probably be bouncing between there and In the Mood, honestly. On the main pool deck for the day, lots of amazing artists that are on here. I would like to point out Amia, who I already talked about. I will drop some of her music on here. We have Odd Mob, incredible Australian producer. Definitely like kind of more on like the tech house side, I would feel.
Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right.
All day, all night, all day.
We have Cream. They are one of my top must-sees on this boat. I have to see Cream. I nearly squealed when the lineup dropped and they were on it. I was like, fuck yes, thank God. So they are like a melodic tech house type of vibe, like melodic techno vibe.
Believe it.
Been dripping down my neck, you know you don't wanna test, so make me
Absolutely love them. So definitely want to check them out. We have Goodfella and we have Shan Giles, who I think I keep saying his name wrong, but these are kind of all like looking at over it all. It's like all house, melodic house, kind of like melodic techno, tech house vibes for this party. Over at the casino, let's see what is going on here. We have, so Kylie Nate, she is techno. I'm not too sure who some of these other artists are. So if you are Tequila or Water, if you are Palmer, Sakal, I don't know who that is. Zach Davis, Rocky, if you are any of these artists, please drop what type of style music you have. I did make a playlist, by the way, which I forgot to mention. So I have listened to a lot of these artists, but it's just so hard to listen to it all and know it all and keep it in my head. So I just want to keep it moving here. So yeah, if you know anything about these artists, go ahead and drop it below. We also have the Space Puppies Party. This is honestly like a party where it's like, okay, these are some of my favorite Groove Cruise artists on here. We have Vintage 72. We have Crucial B. Okay. Crucial B is also longtime GC fam member and resident artist, in my opinion. We have Deep Fake, who is incredible techno DJ duo from Detroit. And then we have Keith Christopher. So this party honestly is fire. Of course, it's going on the same time as In the Mood and Drum Circle. So it's like, these are where all the conflicts come in, right? Heading over to Dazzles, we have Vixen's Sexy Circus. Vixen's is a club in South Florida. And I believe that they are partnering with Twisted Funk, which it's not on here, but I do believe I recall seeing that on one of the flyers, and Twisted Funk is Ollie Sanders' record label. So this is going to be a house music party, you guys. You got Tim Clark, you have Andy Ruins, you have DJ Malone, Ollie Sanders, Max Lowe, a special guest, and then you have Daxon doing a sunrise set. Wow. Daxon is a trance music artist, but honestly, like this is a like house vibe party looking at all these artists. So I don't know. That might be really interesting to see. Then we have for Blaze Deck 4, we have Barnyard with Brian Lubliner and Vavo. Okay, so this is kind of interesting, okay? So I've talked about Brian before. He is very versatile. Now Vavo, they are a country electronic duo, okay? So if you love country music, fam, you have to go see them. And I have a feeling that this is why this is called Barnyard.
I should stop asking questions before you get abandoned. You one of them girls that ain't trying to meet nobody. You're just here for the party. If I'm wrong, back to the city with the engine running, just you and me.
So I have a feeling Brian will be spinning some like country in here. What? Oh my God, that's so cool. And then there's going to be Taking Back Emo. Oh, this is one of my favorite parties that I've talked about. I've talked about Nikita Page doing Taking Back Emo before. So this is like your electronic music genre that's like blended with all of your favorite punk rock anthems from back in the day. So definitely recommend checking it out. You have the Brothers Grimm on there. You have Nikita Page and Lucy doing the Taking Back Emo party this year. And then finally, heading over to the Solarium for afters, we have Carnival. This is Gene Ferris's party. And it's a really sick lineup. You have Queso Fresco opening it up. So we have Sikla, we have Joshua, we have Gene Ferris, and then we have the Sunrise Marathon set by Doc Brown. That's like a do not miss for me. Absolutely love Doc Brown. I love everyone on this party. I've already talked about a lot of these artists before, so hopefully you've caught what I've said about them, but they're all incredible house and tech house artists. So if you're into that vibe, that's what's going on for the afters. Before we get into the activations for Saturday, I do want to talk about Labadee and the set times that they have for the beach party. So Labadee is a private island in Haiti. We did sail there just 2 years ago. Guys, it's gorgeous. It's really beautiful. Great thing about this beach party is that you do not need to take a tender boat over to the beach like we did last year. If you were on Groove Cruise last year, it's a great stirrup key. you have to take a separate boat to get you over to the island. This, you just walk straight off the boat and you are on the private island. Really beautiful waters, beautiful venue. It's just very nice. So if you have the opportunity to get off the boat, definitely do that. Just want to touch upon the beach party a little bit. We have 2 different stages. We have the Labadee Nelly's beach party. We have Dose opening that up. Okay, he is a House Tech House GC fam member and DJ. So that's what you could expect from him. We have Annabelle Unglin, who I talked about before, probably one of the most well-known house music producers. She's done a lot of tracks with like tons of house music artists and is an incredible house music DJ herself. We have Bunt, who everyone has been super hype about. He also does a lot of house music, and I think the beach vibe will be great for him. And then we have Shannon Williams closing it out. So that is like your house stage for the beach party. Which obviously it is labeled Rising Tides. So that is Groove Cruise's house label. So there you go. So you have the house music there. You also do have trance on the beach, which is at Labadee at the Adrenaline Beach stage. You're going to have Ruby and Husapian. Always say their name wrong. I'm sorry, you guys. We also have Trance Jesus. We have Nil Six, who is the 2 DJs. I talked about it earlier. They have this project together. This is them. And I think that they actually are kind of more on the tech trance side. Honestly, listening to some of their music, I really was into it. So that would be cool to check out. And then we have Adam Scott closing out with the trance classics. So you have a little bit of something for everybody. You have either house or trance on the beach. Okay, just touching upon the activations for Saturday. There's a lot of stuff that's going on the beach because this is obviously the day that we are docked and we get off the boat if you want to. There are a bunch of weddings going on. There's a bunch of jet skis. There's different types of zip lines and coasters and all these things that are going on. We still have the merch store that's open, the solarium for Wet Oasis, and the silent disco going on all night as well. Let's dive into the final day here. We have at the Aqua Theater, we have the Abyss closing party. So this is going to be like the afters for the night. My guess is they're changing it from the solarium just because they have to turn this boat around the next day. Once we get off, they make it a normal cruise again that people are going to be boarding. So they probably have to start breaking down a lot of the stages and stuff. So there's going to be a few venue changes here. So the Abyss closing party, obviously this is afters, pretty much nighttime to afters. We have Kess opening it up. So maybe he's going to do like a deeper techie set maybe. We have deepfake techno artists. We have Amia, B2B Maxlow. That's going to be absolutely awesome. There's a lot of B2Bs on here. Anthony Atala, B2B, Gene Ferris. So they're Chicago. A lot of these are like tech house vibes here. We have Odd Mob, B2B Joshua. We have Yodo, B2B Christoph. So they're kind of like on the deeper chiller house side. So that might be like a good little change up. And then we're transitioning into techno with Nicole Mudaber and Leighton Giordani. They are techno B2B. And then we have closing out Roger Sanchez and Friends. This is going to be a marathon set from Roger Sanchez, which I really hope I don't miss. Last time he did the closing party, he did House Classics 2017, and it was incredible. One of my top sets of all time, top 5 sets probably still of all time. So I definitely recommend Roger Sanchez and Friends for the closing party. This whole lineup though, absolutely fire. Absolutely recommend all these artists.
DJ throws on my favorite song. I'm dancing with this.
If you ask, I'll say no. When you're here all alone, just sitting on your throne.
During the day, we have Deep House Brunch. This is Scotty Boy's party, so you can expect those Deep House vibes. You have chill vibes. You know, sometimes there's live saxophone or live, performances on top of the house music. So there's a lot of great artists that you will see on here. I don't know if it's Luhan or Lujan. Don't know who that is. Sorry if I don't know you. We have Brookie. We have Nikki Genesis. We have Scotty Boy with a special guest. We have Kaztech and Madison Orange. So that's a pretty solid lineup right there for Deep House Brunch. We also on the promenade have We're Never Going Home. So this is Brian Lubliner's party, and we have a lot of GC fam staples here. We have Licious, we have Queso Fresco, Adam Scott, who does a house set. So this is always fun to see Adam out of his element at the We're Never Going Home party. We have Brian Lubliner, Drums of the Sun, and the We're Never Going Home back to back. And so right there, that's a solid party. Pretty much the promenade for Deep House Brunch and We're Never Going Home. That's all GC fam artists right there, you guys. People that have been on the boat, multiple sailings, multiple times. So you really can't go wrong there. In the Amber Theater, we have Ophelia Presents Sirens Echoes closing party. So we have the closing party for our trance music, or I'm sorry, not trance music, our bass music lovers, our melodic bass lovers. I said trance because Ophelia is Seven Lions record label. And I just feel like Seven Lions can sometimes be on the trancey side in some of his sets. So we do have some incredible bass music artists on here. We have Gem and Tori, we have Lucy, we have Alley Cat. If you want the harder bass, Lucy and Alley Cat, those are two female DJs that throw down heavy bass. I would definitely recommend checking them out. We obviously have Midas, who has come back time and time again, Seven Lions, and then we have Trivecta B2B Blastoise. That's really interesting to see them together. Blastoise is more psytrance. And then we have the Ophelia B2B. So that's a solid party right there too, you guys. I feel like this is why the last day, it's kind of like very, very hard to figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to survive. So good luck. Comedy live deck, we have Neon Owl Party. So we do have Neon Owl on board. They do a lot of the music, live industry music panels. So they're very involved as far as the activations, and they do have their own hosted party as well. So I don't actually recognize a lot of people on here besides Voyager. So I'm sorry if I don't know many of the people on here. Studio B Ice Rink, we have the Rising Tides closing party. So this is going to be the house party that's going to be closing out before you move your way over to the other closing parties. We have Keith Christopher, Nate Wyatt, Telecast. We have Cream in there. Ooh, I love Cream. I'm like so excited to see them. I definitely have to see like one or both of their sets. We have Deeper Purpose, B2B, Annabelle Unglin, and then we have It's Murph and Bunt. So very excited to see some of these artists have multiple sets. That's the great thing about Groove Cruises. If you miss them somewhere else, you could hopefully catch them somewhere else again. At the fuel deck in deck 16, we do have the Essential Freaks party with, of course, Essential Freaks. We also have Lucio Doc Brown on there. I'm not sure about the two openers on here, Heather Effie, B2B, Titan Chios. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. And then we have Fractured. On the main pool deck for the day, we have Tissot, we have Anika, Ranger Trucko, Matt Sassari, DJ Ruckus, and a surprise guest. Once again, this is kind of going to be like more of like a tech house party from looking at these artists. In the casino, we have a Rage Responsibly bachelor party. So, wow. There's a bachelor party going on for Rage Responsibly. I can't even talk about it. Rage Responsibly. There we go. Interesting. Then we also have after that, let's see. We have like a bunch of artists playing other sets again. We have a mix of bass and house also in the casino for this night. So it's one of those things you might walk in, catch something you really like. Over at the main pool, we do have the Embark closing party. So this is going to be where your trance is going to be for the night. Now, Pretty Pink, I do feel like she's like more of like a melodic, like techno type producer, but like that's the thing. Like a lot of these genres, they kind of like blend, right? So you have a lot of trance music artists on here. So maybe she'll be more on the trance side for this. You do have Trance Jesus, Dave Nevin, Robert Nixon, Nil Six, who's the DJ duo that I mentioned before, that I think is more like tech trance, honestly. We have Maddox and Daxon, so that's all of your trance there for Embark. Over at Blaze Deck 4, we have Dark Tides with Kyla Nate, who's techno. We have Fresh Powder. We have Sarah D. Warren and Dancernaut. And then in Dazzles, we have a lot of house music going on for the night with Jay Disco, Lavelle Dupree, Twin Sick, Vavo, and Goodfellow. Now, Vavo I talked about before, they're kind of like more country house. So be interesting to see if they're actually doing their style there or if they're going to be more up to par with house, which is what most of these artists are on here. Just briefly touching upon the activations for Sunday, a few things that look notable to mention. The Keys to Happiness workshop with When the Music Stops. I think that this is like going to be a good like mental health workshop that you should check out. Also, Scooter's Scratch Academy with Scooter and Buck Rogers. So they're going to teach you how to scratch properly. I do think that Scooter is like absolutely talented in this when it comes to the hip hop party. If you go to his hip hop party, you'll see what I'm talking about. But if you're interested in learning some new DJ skills, that seems something interesting to attend. We have yoga on here. We have all the artist activations that I've mentioned, of course, that if you have not signed up, you can always go to Captain Support to see if there's availability. Wow, fam. Okay, that was a lot to take in. Thank you very much if you have made it this far. Please don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you say hi to me if you see me on Groove Cruise. Don't forget to share this video with any GC fam. And also, I will leave in the description and comment box below my promo code. If you plan on purchasing any future Groove Cruise, you can use my promo code. That really helps me out. That helps me be able to come on Groove Cruise and make more content for you. So thank you so much for sticking it out. I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you very soon, fam. Peace.